Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. In this episode, I'm going to be doing a review of Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Battle Destiny Remastered. This was a Vita title around the Gundam Seed universe that was released back in 2012, only in Japan. Since then, we've now had it ported and remastered, or kind of remade, in the Unreal Engine for Switch. And only Steam. Kind of weird, no PlayStation, Xbox, but we'll get to that. I want to come at this review from two different perspectives. First, we're going to talk about this in regards to video games in general. I'm a big gamer, I have a gaming channel, so I'll be talking about and deep diving into the specifics and gameplay elements of this game and what makes it good. Okay, spoiler alert. But also I want to talk to it on the Gundam perspective. What does this game do for the Gundam IP for gaming in the West? Because remember, this is a game that was ported that wasn't originally here. So to start, what type of game is this? Well, it's like a third-person action game, things of the 360 era, and it has DNA that even goes back to the PS2, maybe even PS1 with Gundam games, with the way they design the controls, perspective, how the camera works. But to just kind of get it out of the way, easy way to put it, third-person action game, but you're in a mech, and the game does a good job of making it feel like you're in a mech. If you're pressing another button to fire or use your beam saber, fire a weapon, use your beam saber, you actually see an animation of you putting that weapon back and taking out the new one. So there is this sort of slower paced deliberateness, even though late game with upgraded suits, it gets very fast paced, but still that animation deliberateness with the weapons is there, and I appreciate it. It gives it that mech feel. So again, while it plays like any other ordinary action game, it's tight here, it's done well, and Bandai and Ardink and other developers within the Gundam IP have made video games for a long time through the 2000s and 2010s that have really refined this gameplay. As for graphics, being an Unreal Engine, it's hit or miss, but in this case, for Gundam Seed Battle Destiny Remastered, it actually looks good, and I think it's because they weren't relying on the Unreal Engine to boast the best graphics or new technical things they could do. What they really did was scaled it back and just made it look as nice as possible. I think they really focused on art direction here. It's really not about looking realistic, but really matching the style and tone you would get out of the anime. And even sometimes looking up close in space with the lighting and the shadows, it actually then sometimes makes it look as realistic as maybe a model kit. So I think this game does a really good job upgrading into Unreal Engine 5 with solid looking graphics that aren't revolutionary, but they just look good and feel good. You get a really good game out of that. And as for sound, there's only Japanese voices, and so to be honest, I just turned it off because there's subtitles anyway. I don't know, I just turned that off so there's not a lot of chatter. Some of you might like it, but the music is really good. In fact, it's very operatic, thematic, cinematic, all the attics, okay? But it really makes the game feel good when you're playing it, like I'm really in. You know, as far as getting into the meta element of the game, on the surface it is an action game where you just run around as a giant robot, shoot things, blow things up. But I really like the structure of the missions, because there's a variety of missions from different factions, but as you go, there's I think 3 missions where you can choose a side, and then that unlocks missions for that side. You can then go back to the previous mission to then unlock the other faction side and play those missions. So there's branching paths, and you can unlock them all and play them. But as you're playing this whole time, you're constantly gaining points, GP, global points, to upgrade your suits, and you're constantly gaining TP, or points for the specific suit. So there's multiple ways that you can constantly be upgrading your suits, and actually once you finish the game, it allows you to then max them out even more, so you can do some fun endgame stuff to try to get ranks on missions, which is another added bonus and value to the mission structure. Not only are there branching paths, but also there's a rating system, and it goes from E, which is a failure, to a double S. And once you get S in a mission, you typically will then unlock things. That's either mobile suits or other pilots that you can use. Pilots have abilities, mobile suits have abilities, and there's tons of mobile suits. So there's really so much when it comes to choosing what you want to do, how you want to play. Like I said in my beginner's tips, you want to be experimenting using a bunch of different mobile suits to see what works for you, just because there's different types of weapons, the thrust, and then you can even tune when you're upgrading the suits, as I talked about. You can max everything, or if you have limited points to work with, tune specific areas that you want to maximize, whether that's speed or just power from your weapon. So it's really fun that the game offers this level of fun and, I guess, customizing and making the experience yours. On top of that, there are extra missions, so there's a way you could just play, free play the missions. You can do versus missions, just setting up where you're just fighting other mobile suits. There's even these hyper boss battles you get into, so the game does add a lot more to that as well. Let's go to value here. For a game, if you're just wanting to play a video game, if you're the type of gamer that would love to drop $40 on a 20+ hour single player experience, I think it works here. I mean, I think 40 is completely fine with what they're doing here, because again, this is upgraded. Sure, it's a port, or not even a port. It's a game remade in Unreal Engine, but the quality of life improvements in 2025 that you'd expect in a game are here, and it makes it very, very fun. Again, it is a Vita port. The Vita version actually had multiplayer, and that's missing here. So then let's go to another aspect of this. I said, for $40, a robot action game, whether you like Gundam or not, this is fun. Tons of unlockables, tons of upgrading. Yeah, it's kind of a simple surface level like that, but it's a lot of fun. But it's missing the multiplayer, so I don't know if that means then there would be some DLC later on where they would add multiplayer or potentially add other suits. Since this has come out, there's a lot new Gundam story or Seed stories out there, so we could be getting some other DLC related to that, levels, etc. So, as from a gaming perspective, for $40, if you just love games or you're curious about this game, it is totally worth $40. There's tons of value in this, and it's tons of fun. But now let's talk about this from the Gundam perspective. I think what I've said before, I think completely works here in terms of what I said about the gameplay, the graphics, even related to other Gundam games. Sure, this is kind of a format that's used quite a bit, but I think it's one that works. And it's not simmy, but it's not super arcadey like the Gundam Breaker 4 or the SD Gundam Battle Alliance. In a way, it kind of had a middle ground. But I think what makes this work is because we're seeing properly proportioned Gundam Seed characters in a modern action game. We haven't really got this in a while. Sure, we got Code Fairy with GBO2, but I really feel like GBO2 style combat for a single player game was already dated at that point. So I think the biggest thing is that they can remaster old Gundam games, and there's tons of old Gundam games that are absolutely amazing. And sure, I would say post below what you think they should remaster next, just throwing a game in Unreal Engine. There's so many. I think the best one would be the PS3 side story game, only because that does encompass all of a whole bunch of original Gundam games that follow the same story within the UC timeline, and they would only need to do a few things, really just fix the controls, make them like they work here in Gundam Seed Battle Destiny. But I'm sure there's a bunch of others. But so the Unreal Engine thing, that's a plus. But what's very odd about this is the fact that even though it's Unreal Engine, there's no multiplayer, and it's not on Xbox and PlayStation, which to me tells me that they really had a low budget in this. And you know what? I think that's fine if the experiment was like, hey, let's see if we can port an old game into Unreal. And so I'm fine if they have to cut some corners for now just to see if it works. And the way it came out, I think it's excellent. So while I'd say this is really good for the Gundam franchise and gaming that they're doing something like this, although I'd rather it be Universal Century. So I think if I was going to make a knock at this game, I would rather it be Universal Century, although there's a lot of Seed fans. And so I think this game deserves to be released, especially with Freedom that came out whenever it did. It's been a year or two now. I really think that Seed deserves more of the games, and we need that, but they really need a UC one like this. So from a Gundam perspective, I think if you want to see more good Gundam stuff, I guess legacy stuff, you need to purchase this game to support that initiative if you can. And if you don't really care to support an initiative, but you're curious about playing a game, this is really fun anyway. So I think it's just worth playing, worth giving your time to. So yeah, that'll just about do it. You know, I talked in my tips video, if you want to go check that out, where I did a custom control scheme, and I'll have the image posted right now so you can kind of take a look at that. I just customized the controls to make them a little more modern, using the right stick to click in to do the focus or lock on whatever, and then use the right stick to move it around. So that, and then the triggers for shooting, X for attack. I just felt this was very modern for me, and I had a lot of fun with it. Anyway, all, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of the game below. Just to sum up everything, I think this game is fun. I've had a lot of fun. I can't wait for them to do more like this. Hope to hear for them getting DLC for this or something like that. So yeah, looking forward to it. But hey, shout out to the supporters that make this possible. Check the link in the description. Supporting this channel is something you're interested in. Or you can check out the link to our Discord. We have a lot of fun there talking Seed Battle Destiny Remastered and showing off our gunpla. So anyway, until next time, be cool.